We're beginning a new topic here in our presentations that we've been putting on for the last 7 or 8 or 9 years. A new way of presenting data. We're going to start presenting one condition a month, and we're going to address that condition every day for that month. We're going to give you nuances of that condition. The condition that we're going to start with in April is that we're doing this April right now is what is Hashimoto's, and Hashimoto's is going to be the subject this month. Then another month we might talk about fibromyalgia. Another month we might talk about chronic fatigue. So there's so many aspects to these conditions that it's hard for me when somebody writes me and says, what's Hashimoto's? I can talk well, you can go look at our Hashimoto's No BS series, and that's over an hour long, and we had to cut that down. So what is Hashimoto's? And we're going to hit a little nuance each and every day. So for those of you Hashimoto's, this should be like uber interesting and informative, because I've been doing Hashimoto's for a long time. I studied with a doctor that actually kind of figured out Hashimoto's was what's causing most thyroid problems, and I've been very blessed that way. And if there's a question you got about it, usually I can answer it. So let's start answering that. We'll start with what is Hashimoto's. So I'm going to keep this short because we're going to talk about this for another 29 days. Okay, but Hashimoto's is very complex. It is just so complex. When we started out, it was, okay, it's an immune attack against the thyroid. Okay. And that's clear enough. Your immune system starts attacking your thyroid and you get Hashimoto's. So technically, it's an autoimmune problem. They call it Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Itis means inflammation. Okay, so there's inflammation against the thyroid because the immune system is attacking it. And there's so many nuances. We're going to talk about why you've been told that your lab tests are normal. A lot of people know that now, but a lot of you still don't. I had a nurse in here yesterday that had kind of was a little bit unaware of the fact that it's mind-numbingly misdiagnosed. It's frequently not looked for. The numbers are in different labs are different. There is silent Hashimoto's. There is reactive Hashimoto's. There is full-blown Hashimoto's. There are nuances of it all over the place. There are herbs and botanicals for it. Some people want to know, can I get off the medication? We'll answer that question. Medications are a big question I get a lot. Hashimoto's is related to so many other things. It's related to autoimmune attacks against your cerebellum, where you get dizziness and vertigo and balance at the same time, and you're going like, what the heck do I have that for? And you don't realize that they're connected. It's related to gut problems, specifically related to celiac. It's related to autoimmune gastritis. For those of you who have difficulty having a child, it's related to polycystic ovarian syndrome and more. If you have rheumatoid arthritis, there's such and such a chance that you're going to have Hashimoto. So we're going to talk about those things. We're going to talk about what is the actual attack for Hashimoto's, and the fact that the initial attack should not be herbs and botanicals or drugs, for that matter. Okay, the initial attack should be what is creating the inflammatory responses that are flaring up your immune system. For that, I could talk every day for a month, or maybe 2 or 3 months for that matter, but we'll try to keep it to 1 month. So that's what we're going to do. Hashimoto's. It's an autoimmune attack against your thyroid. Most of you are told you have hypothyroid first. Some of you will actually have hyperthyroid symptoms. That's another thing we're going to talk about in one of the sections. But most of you are told you have hypothyroid first, and then when it's not responding well to the medications, then maybe your doctor will look and run the thyroid antibodies, which they don't normally run. That's another thing we'll talk about. Like there's like 10 markers you should run for your thyroid panel, and most doctors run between 1 and 3. And then if those markers are not good, they'll treat you for hypothyroid. If the markers are all normal, they'll say, oh, well, you don't have anything, come back in 6 months. So Hashimoto's is complex. Autoimmune attack against the thyroid. They call it Hashimoto's thyroiditis. It's an inflammatory autoimmune attack against the thyroid. It is primarily an autoimmune problem until there's too much damage to the thyroid, then it becomes an autoimmune hypothyroid problem. So that's really enough for today. I mean, it just kind of like give you a little bit of an overview, and then starting the next segment tomorrow, then we will talk about one of the specific